Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the back nine of the opening round of the 2022 Infinite Disc Maricopa Open, presented by the Disc Shack. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, alongside Nick Newton. And Nick, of course, wind has been the word of the day. The question is, will it let up in the second half?
I highly doubt it, Terry. And it's pretty awesome to see these guys try to battle it. I'm really excited to see them try to strive to get a couple birdies on this back nine. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So glad you could join us. We are here on the night of play that happened a few hours after it, trying to bring you guys the coverage as quickly as possible. And thanks to Zach Taylor, we are actually taking a look at the drone preview, hole number 10. Couple of Mandos, not so much the distance, it's more about the accuracy.
Yes, this hole actually plays as a triple Mando. You have to play right of the telephone pole you see with the sign on there and left of the gate that's to the right of the goalie. And playing very difficult because it's a direct headwind.
Cut that one off.
Couldn't really see there, but it looks like Austin did not like his shot.
No, it was short and left, and it just blended just wrong in my viewfinder. One of the few shots, I'll admit, that I missed today, but it was short and left if you see it.
Adam laying it up short of the Mando, not trying to bite off too much. Probably a smart play, especially with this wind.
Yeah, just trying not to give away a stroke by missing the Mando. You know, maybe conceding to the idea of, hey, if I lay up, then I can just pitch over, walk away with a 3, and be totally content.
Lassuy turning this one over too much, but, you know, right in the middle of the fairway, no harm, no foul. Oh, he does not like this, and clearly missing the Mando.
Right this.
Way off to the left side, and he will go to the drop zone with penalty. Here's Turner.
Definitely throwing a Raptor up here. This is a very touchy up shot.
Oh, I like the angle.
Go in. Oh, wow. What a terrible skip. He will have a look for the par, but still a tester. And that one getting out of his sight. That was a very errant upshot.
Yeah, just, kind of getting a little loose with it, almost as if, taking it for granted, and the wind caught the bottom side and just took off with it.
Yeah, it was hard to describe.
We see Adam again just pitching up with a zone. If you watch the front nine, you saw that he was doing all of his putting with the zone. And these players are laying up putts from all over the place.
I mean, coming from about 40 feet, I would respectively say that they should be laying it up anyways. But a lot of these guys are jamming putts well outside the circle, especially in calm conditions. So it's definitely surprising, and a little bit of a show to see what's to come.
Wow, and you see Lassuy, after going over the basket on the previous attempt, then has a comebacker. And boys and girls, I can't say it enough. That is taking your medicine, and that is a lesson to be learned. And that's how you don't turn, one mistake into a quadruple bogey, and instead you say, okay, I'm just going to pitch one up and I'm going to take my medicine. Sometimes on a day like today, this is when you get a viral video. Everybody's trying to avoid just that, not seeing a 9 putt on a given hole.
And it was very possible today,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we might have something in store for you as we move in, but that is hole 10, just 8 holes left to play here in this opening round. Opening round of 3, in fact. And this is a little bit on the shorter side. You were saying there's some birdies on the back. Is this what you call a birdie hole?
Yes, definitely. This hole is a stock 300-foot hyzer, stating 301 on the tee sign. The OB is to the right. There's a fence that divides the crop from the course, and there's also a fence that separates the baseball field. Lefty definitely in favor here because there's a huge right to left wind. And Austin showing that right there, putting himself inside the circle, not contesting with that right to left and getting a big push. And Adam doing the same. He's going to the sidearm, making sure he does not show the flight plate to that extreme wind. Oh, you can see the skip majorly going left.
And it was right around this time as we're watching Jordan throw his drive. It was actually just about a hole before this. The card in front of us did have a foursome. However, Drew Gibson, right around hole 9, actually had opted to withdraw. I was told by the time we got here to 11 as Lassie's carries out over into the OB fence.
That right to left really working in there.
It did. It pushed it right over, and he's got work to do. We were told that Drew was suffering from a bruised thumb, so that's why he had withdrawn back somewhere around hole 9 or 10.
Yeah, when you have an injury out on the course, sometimes it's best just to, take your losses and move on and go to the next event and recover as best as you possibly can, because any injury you have out on the course or off the course, you don't want to aggravate it more as by playing hard and throwing hard shots and trying to compete.
Yeah, have it carry into an all-year affair as opposed to just mitigating it to a couple weekends possibly.
Yeah, and this is the first event of the year for a lot of these people, so, I think it's getting back into the swing, making sure that you're not, overdoing yourself, and making sure you're tuned for the season, the 2022 season, man.
Well, this guy's ready for the season. He's just taking a stroll.
Wow.
A lot of people out at the park, and he was just wanted front row. He doesn't want no Disc Golf Pro Tour pass or ticket.
He was not phased at all. And Jordan just barely squeaking it over there. I mean, any putt's a good putt today, but, that definitely took a big skip off the lip of the basket there.
Just squeaking in.
And
I keep thinking about that guy. Maybe he just had a VIP pass. That's what it was. And that just gives him access.
is
to,
that the pre-tour pass? Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly it. The Arizona. I'm going to start selling those. I'm usually covering the Shelly Sharpe and this event, and I'm going to start selling the VIP spectator passes, and that gentleman has one already. He's got
Well,
the first.
Terry, you're always welcome in Arizona. As a new Arizonan, I'm happy to have you out here.
Well, and speaking of new, there is a new layout for this hole. Man, is it dicey. As if it's not hard enough, now we've got a couple of, drop zones and OB marked areas and a little landing zone to try and land yourself in, and then an island-type green.
Yes, this is a triple
I'm
island.
dizzy.
This one's 420 feet. Normally, in any calm conditions, this hole would play relatively easy for the eagle. It looks like it's a par 4 today, and there's a triple island laying up. It's an island that sits in front of you about 110 feet in length, and it relatively sits about 165 feet off the tee. So it looks like a lot of the players on our card here are just going for the first island just to ensure the birdie. But like I said, on a relatively calm day, this is an easy eagle for all these players.
Yeah, you would think most of these guys would be going after it in a regular day, and instead we're seeing a couple layups to the landing zone, and Adam certainly thought he was out of bounds, and he was a little bit surprised. He found himself about 3 feet left. Oh, there's his disc actually still. So he was in bounds.
Wow.
Just by a few inches.
And getting it really high there, that was exposing the flight plate way too much. Looks like he's safe, but he's going to have a very testy putt coming into the basket. A lot of OB right behind it. Not super close, but definitely lurking.
Getting this to stick near the basket is so tough in these conditions, and Lassie's turns over hard left. That's going to come up short, so he'll move to the next drop zone.
This shot is in no way, shape, or form easy. You have a direct right to left crosswind. The ground plays very skippy, and there's OB right behind the island. And not only that, but you have a giant baseball field to the left of you that's all OB, so your disc is just flying towards. So I don't want anybody to think that this shot is in any way, shape, or form easy, because I watched many people take many strokes on this one shot right here.
Yeah, just look at those flags.
Lassuy just pitching up. Great layup from where he was at. I know it's probably nothing good that he's thinking in his head, but
Yeah, very little consolation there, and Adam not even messing with it. Again, just pitching up to the pin. He's going to be content walking away with a 4.
Yeah, pars are good today, Terry.
Jordan has a little bit of a decision to make himself. If you do get past the basket carry, you could find the OB, but that one actually comes up just short, and he should have the easy tap in to save the par.
Austin wasting no time, probably rushing a little bit. That was his zone, and he's definitely going to be upset about it.
I think about any competitor that has a relatively fluid or quick routine when it comes to putting that can take advantage of a lull in the wind. I think has a huge. I think of like Ricky Wysocki, who can take his time, or he can just step right up and jam a putt. So when there's a little calm in the air for even a moment, he can just adjust to it and get up and putt quickly. And I think anyone that can do that in these conditions has a huge advantage. As we're gonna fly over this basket and play to a different one.
Yeah, this is also a pretty easy par 3. It's 366. Even in these conditions, most of these guys should be definitely birding this hole. The OB plays to the left into the field. If you're in the grass, you're OB, or on the concrete path. And you're definitely going to want to hang this out wider than you think. And Adam hanging this out way higher than he wants to. As long as it has the distance, it should be safe.
That one's going to be deep of the pin. And I was trying to get the basket in frame. Otherwise, it's completely blind from the tee. So as Jordan asked just then if he's inbounds or not, it did come up a little short and left.
That must have skipped pretty huge.
So we're going to see a high left or right to left swing here with the forehand. And that is just a couple feet away. That is absolutely parked for Turner.
Wow, what a great shot. You know, he really needed it at this moment too, being 5 over. You know, anybody who's over par right now obviously thinks that they're not doing that great, but in all retrospect, they're not doing terrible.
Certainly not. And again, here's where you're looking at 38 feet and thinking, man, this is, you know, I'm making half of these, if not more. And Jordan was just trying to pitch it up to the pin and hit a rock and came up short. So he'll have the bogey at best. Lassuy pitches up.
Adam having a direct headwind putt here. This would be a solid birdie to make. Oh, and just falls out of the sky. Nose angle definitely getting to him. And like you said, Jordan has a little bit of a tester, dead tailwind, a little bit of a right to left.
Adam said he liked the angle he put it on. Jordan able to step up and get the birdie.
Jamming it.
Or the bogey, correction. Yeah, Adam had thought that he was right where he wanted to be, and then, like you said, the wind just took it. And he's stepped up and will walk away with a par.
Quite the look he's got going on. Very rare you see any professional players rocking the hood the whole round.
Having the hood on like that, having it zipped up tight. And Turner, oh, wow. The kid's got trick shots. The opposite hand dunk for the birdie. He's going to take the honors on the next hole.
He's got more trick shots than you think he does.
I bet he does. All right, what are they trying to do on this one?
So this hole is hole 14. It's 363 feet. It's a dead hyzer straight to the basket. But again, we have a massive left to right wind. It's pushing a little bit tail, so your disc is going to go a little farther than normal. So, but the right to left push is not going to be there as much as you want it to be. So they're definitely going to need to throw it a little harder than they would normally do in a calm condition. And Austin throwing a forehand, getting a amazing ground play. Not trying to push it OB. Again, it's very easy to go OB on this hole, especially with the tailwind. And Adam going forehand as well. And this is going to expose the wind to the flight plate. So he's going to need to go a lot wider than normal. Looking like he does it. And getting amazing ground play, parking the hole. That's definitely within 15 feet.
Great shot by Hamas, just knowing to get it to check up before that OB sidewalk. Thankfully, we're not seeing too much action out here on the course in terms of other patrons. Sometimes we've seen, soccer tournaments and other things taking place. And Lassuy,
dang, just barely leaking OB. And that was so easy to do, especially with the right to left roll. The wind just keeps the disc up, and Jordan getting a good wind read on that, hanging it a little wider, not pumping it as far out there. Awesome ground play, putting himself inside the circle. Still a testy putt, so Austin laying it up right
Yeah,
away.
I wasn't even ready. I was trying to get into position. I thought maybe he'd give it a run, and he was ready to go. He just stepped right up, and I was like, oh, I better get a little bit of the shot, but that's a pitch up. Here's Jordan.
Again, if there's a lull in the wind, you need to go. Oh, just a tad low.
And we see that Mike was, in fact, out of bounds, so he'll be able to bring it in from there. This is to save the par.
And using the new rule, I guarantee it, you can now take your meter in from OB in any direction within 180 degrees off the OB. So you can go right, left, or straight now off of the OB, which is an interesting rule because it definitely puts you closer to the basket, whether you're putting from out of bounds or you're putting from a different obstacle that is OB. So.
Yeah, there's a handful of rule changes for 2022. So, of course, we invite you to head over to pdj.com/rules, and you can check them all out. I believe they even highlight the specific ones that will be changed for 2022. And starting to wrap things up here on the back half of the course. Well, another sidewalk, possible water, and a lot of distance to cover. How's that for a summary?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, this hole is pretty risky. You definitely are going to hang it out wider because the safe areas playing it wide. It's 422 feet, and it feels like a right to left, and you're going to need to use that wind, definitely. Adam's getting it high enough, definitely, and it's going to need to take a huge skip. Doesn't get it.
Yeah, that's going to be out wide left, or correction, wide to the right. We notice that the one place you really don't want to be is deep or left,
Yes.
and that is way up in the air.
Yeah, there's a sidewalk to the left and a lake, or a pond, as I might correct myself. Austin throwing it OB there. The sidewalk plays really close to the basket, so even if you don't get close or you play it wide right, it's a technical upshot getting to that basket. And as you see Lassuy turning it over, trying to make sure he keeps it wide, catching a little bit of wind to get it to push left, but he's going to have a tricky upshot.
Yeah, he way off on that right-hand side. I eventually get panned all the way back. There's Castro.
Showing that flight plate a little much. That's heading towards the OB. Needs to get down. Oh, and a great shot from Castro. Getting a good stick. That was tough to do today.
Yeah, just the way that comes in with enough hyzer angle. It looked like, and I apologize, I don't know which disc that is of his, but it clearly is one of his most stable drivers, because anytime he wanted something to hit and not skip, he was going with that.
Probably an insanity or a panic. And Austin throwing a little upshot there, probably with a zone, putting himself well within range to clean up his boat.
And Adam not really messing with anything, just saying, I'm going to pitch it up. I don't want to call it the layup Olympics, but we get a run out of Jordan, but short, just like the last one.
Yeah, it was definitely tough today. I can agree with that.
Yeah, and again, good play right now is anything around par. You know, Hamas is currently one of the hottest scores at the moment with a few left to play, as he sits just 3 under.
Yeah, as we saw players come in and finish, right about this time, about 4 over par was close to 1020 rated, which was quite shocking. I guarantee a lot of these players were checking scores as they were getting through.
Yeah, it almost was a matter of just making you feel better, thinking, man, I'm 6 over, and it's like, oh, that's not that bad, really.
Right.
So here we are, just a couple holes left to play. This one features the elevated basket, OB on the left-hand side, and the tee shot's maybe a little more tricky than it appears at first.
Yeah, this is pretty much a big hyzer. You're really playing with that right to left wind, so you're going to need to hang it out farther, or there's the up the gut shot. So looks like Adam's doing the up the gut. There was a tree in past years that blocked you from doing this shot, and it's gone now. And it looks like it affected Adam's disc more than he thought. For me personally, when I stepped to this tee, it felt like it was more of a headwind than a right to left, so you weren't really able to see. Ooh, Mike smacking first available. That's tough. And it's also going to be a tough par, but the wind really was more right to left on this hole than you actually felt. So it's playing a little bit of trickery to you when you were teeing off here. As you see Jordan throwing a little bit of hyzer on this and swinging left.
Yeah, and I believe actually it did hit into a tree, and that's when it was clarified that you're not playing the 2-meter rule here. So he was able to bring it back down inbounds.
What a benefit to be a lefty on this hole right here. Playing into the wind rather than playing against it. Just squeaking inbounds off the road there. And he's going to have a very long putt to get a birdie. Probably a par.
Yeah, he'll be looking at a little obstruction. As he tried to fight back in, he actually found the bush, and that one takes a huge skip.
Oh, no, and it squeaks out of bounds. Man, that is insult to injury right there. Looked like a pretty decent shot, and the wind just got under it.
It's just proving that no shot is safe.
Correct.
You throw what looks like a great shot, and then find out that it can get quite squirrely. And I should share with the world, I set the camera microphone settings at the lowest possible setting I could today when recording. There's really 2 or 3 things you could put it at, settings you could put it at, and I put it at the quietest setting of them all. So most of the wind is muted here, but
or
they're
you
still
probably
feeling
wouldn't
it.
hear us, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't even hear us right now. You're right. It was just ripping throughout this entire round.
Oh, and he left himself way short.
And Austin did get back in bounds after playing the skip off the road, but he really went back and forth, postulated a couple different times as to what his best stance would be here.
And not even messing with it, just putting it at the base of a pyramid. Having this basket a little bit elevated, you really did not want to mess with it. And Jordan connecting on a great putt, awesome par save, and that's a great score on this hole right now, especially getting closer to the end of the round. Adam Hammonds being 3 under is a great round, and having everybody else be just a couple over, you totally haven't shot yourself out of it. So you're just trying to maintain where you're at and just not blow up too much.
Yeah, remember, 3-round event. They're not expecting as much win for the next couple of rounds. We'll be at the Maricopa Meadows course, which is a very different look than what you see at Copper Skies. A great bogey save there for Adam.
Coming out of a tree, definitely a little shrubbery in his way, but again, showing off that hooded costume he's got going on.
We're here. This is the 9th annual Infinite Disc Maricopa Open presented by the Disc Shack, and just 2 holes left to go here in the opening round. And hole number 17, well, we're taking a drone flight that sometimes you'll see. I feel like a big forehand shot may go this way. If it's calm, I think the high hyzer with the righty backhand shot seems to be preferred. But today, I think all bets are off.
Yeah, you're definitely not trying to mess with the wind. Jordan going the hyzer, whether the wind's ripping or not, and getting a great reaction. Hard to see where that ended up.
Yeah, and I'm in complete transparency here. As I'm standing back there behind the basket and it was coming in at the trees, I thought, oh God, this thing's going to come crashing in and split my head open. And I went into defense mode for just a moment there and backing away as we see a great shot.
Well, Terry, rightfully so. That's happened a couple times, so no fault of your own. And Austin throwing a great shot.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
man, taking a terrible roll out of bounds.
Adam's shot was literally within inches of hitting some metal, and then it gets up and then rolls all the way out of bounds, more than 80 feet from the pin. He'll get to bring it back to the edge of the road.
That's a hard putt for par, Terry.
It is. Here's where Mike's shot landed, and just really a good, safe pitch up. Walk away with the 3.
I'm sure he's happy with that.
Yeah, we saw Jordan's did actually carry all the way deep and out of bounds.
Oh, no.
I thought it was going to come crashing into the tree or my head, and it carried out of bounds. So Jordan is looking at that for bogey. Here's Adam from about 35.
Oh, what a great putt. Dead headwind. Definitely just softening it in there. That had to be with the zone because you said earlier he did not use his normal putter during the entire round.
Yeah, that was that same zone that we saw throughout. And he was right. He said it almost feels like he deserved that putt because the drive was inches from going into the basket. So to have it roll the way it did, and great par save there for Hamas. And we see the birdie by Austin.
Great birdie. I managed a birdie this hole. I did not go hyzer. I did not go forehand. I went up the gut.
Wow, that is a route we don't often see.
Yeah, the wind wasn't very favorable, so
Okay.
just happy to walk away with at least a couple birdies today.
We'll be checking the scores after the final hole on 18 in a moment, but first Jordan trying to close out. We've seen a number of times going through his routine, taking your time, not trying to rush anything, even on these short putts.
Yes, that was crucial today. Don't take any putt for granted.
So many of those you could just toss in with your eyes closed. Not today. Here we are on the final hole. It's a par 4, OB on left and right sides. There's a Mando. I think there's a partridge in a pear tree. Has everything to try and close out this round, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is a great finishing hole. This really tests your wits coming towards the end of the round. You've been brutalized, you've been wind battered, and now you need to keep it in the fairway straight and try to end this grueling round. Austin throwing an awesome shot, dead center, looking to split the uprights on your second shot.
Asking for his Raptor to sit down, and that actually carries left side. There's a Mando. He doesn't get to the Mando, but he does go out of bounds on the left side. So Adam will have some work to do to try and save the par.
This hole is definitely more of a placement shot. You don't want to push too much distance. You're not trying to split the Mandos on your drive because a 2 is totally out of the question. And it looks like Jordan ripped it without you even seeing it.
Yeah, he was ready to go. I was still, I think, zooming back out, and in a surprising fashion, he was just getting up and he was already to get at it. So, Nick, real quick, what's your go-to wind disc for both you and the viewers are gonna have to tell me? What's your go-to, just beefiest wind disc? That just slipped out of bounds for Turner.
So, me throwing as a Prodigy player, I definitely lean on the H1 for sure,
Okay.
the OG. But if I'm fighting maybe a 50, 40 mile an hour gust, I'm going straight to the X1.
Okay, well, leave it in the comments, like, share, subscribe to all the YouTube things, but then leave that in the comments what your go-to most beefy disc in your entire bag is, the disc you'd be using on a day like today. And speaking of discs, I think we even have a giveaway that's related to that. We have an additional sponsor here that's going to help out with the giveaway. Give us the quick plug.
Yeah, my buddy Garrett Tapkin with True Flight Collective, he's going to be giving away 3 discs here on this video. So if you guys are looking to get some awesome True Flight discs, he's out of San Diego, California. And if you guys are looking to get some awesome plastic, he's carrying Prodigy, Discmania, Innova, Dynamic Disc, pretty much all providers. And all the plastic gets sweet, especially the sweet stamps. And he's also got clothing, apparel. So check him out on Instagram, True Flight Collective. And wow, Austin is not happy about that.
Yeah, that
one.
is not collecting anything in that basket, and that is harsh as he's got to go collect his OB shot. Very frustrating.
Yeah, that was a very solid putt.
It
and
looked
just-
good. Yeah, it certainly did.
Just barely squeaked out the right side.
Now, Adam, after 2 OBs, can still walk away with a bogey if he can convert. And the glow zone, which did plenty of work out there for him today. So he's got 3 OBs in the last 2 holes, but still manages to only go 1 over. So that's silver lining, so to speak.
Yeah, 1 under. And I mean, to be 1 under after today
Yeah.
is not only going to be one of the hotter rounds today, but it's going to be well into the 1050 rating.
Well, we're going to close it out. Nick, thanks for joining. Of course, in round 2, our lead card, Anthony Barella, Adam Hammis, AJ Herr, along with Jacob Gonzalez. Nick, best of luck to you in round 2. Keep it in bounds.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really stoked for Maricopa Meadows. I'm really stoked to be out here starting the season. Thank you to Prodigy, Spinners on the Green, and to True Flight Collective for having me out here on the road, and we'll see you guys in the next couple rounds.
All right, we're signing off. We'll see you in round 2.